so that you will be able to convey it a little bit better to the gentleman up here.
That's a
That's always helpful. I know that when we visited this issue many years ago, and I really think it goes back to about '96, which is more than 10 years ago.
Yes.
That the issues that were raised at the time, the specific needs for the women were the ability to see, the ability to hear, and it had to be something because of the kiruv nature of our synagogue that would not frighten people away. So I want to make sure that those get noted here again, that those are issues. I do appreciate the statements that were made regarding the difficulty walking in here and the slope that exists. That slope causes significant backache to a number of people. And I know
Young people too.
Young people, yes. And there are a number of people who have taken to implementing boards that they can stand on that level things off. We probably don't need to encourage that. Rather, we need to level the slope here. I also want to say regarding one suggestion that was made about flexible mechitza.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I grew up in New Orleans, and the one image that I have in my mind goes back, unfortunately, to segregation, where there was a board that existed, a little plaque type of thing that existed in the streetcars and the buses, and you would move it forward and back depending on whether they were more of one particular color versus another.
Yeah.
And the difficulty with that is that the majority of people, in this case it would be the men, would have a tendency to move that back as far as they could and make it so that there were more men available and fewer women available. I think we need to make sure that we do nothing to eliminate the number of women who can attend at the
And
same
I'm confident
time.
that would not happen here, Scott.
Hi, Marco. Thank you for your time.
All right, you can probably hear me all right without it. Just two comments. The first comment is, I don't know if anybody else has this issue, but I find that the benches are quite close together, such that, and because we're a congregation that for sure show up at the same time, it's very uncomfortable at times when somebody has to pass by you to get to their seats. You almost always have to get up, move over to let them by because the benches I find are very close together. So,
Great.
just one issue. The other thing would be that, as I'm just thinking about the mechitza situation, and that, as I understand it, really what we want to accomplish with mechitza, other than being beautiful, is we want the men and women to be able to concentrate on their prayers without concentrating on each other.
Right.
And where the issue comes in is the women's ability to see what's going on in the middle there, which happens to be a sunken table. As I went and visited several shuls when I was in Israel, many of the shuls in Israel have raised platforms, and they can do it very beautifully. And I think that if the mechitza, without rearranging everything, I mean, I understand this could probably get very, very costly. You know, we can start with one thing and end up spending a whole heck of a lot of money, but in keeping the seating predominantly the same and building mechitza that accomplishes what we need to accomplish, if we raised the shulchan, the table, so that everybody can see when there are people added, that we could do mechitza and not have to worry about rearranging the entire shul.
That's a very interesting comment. Thank you for that. I do want to thank the primary speaker for his comments about writing down, for example, the synagogue in Teaneck, New Jersey. I'm not sure there's more than one, but it would help us to know, which synagogue that was as we set the task. Thank you for your comment. Yes.
So I've been sitting here listening to everyone say how long they've been here, and my wife and I have been here for less than 2 months. One of the main things that brought us here is that we really love the community and have been deeply impressed by the community. And one of the most impressive things about this community to us has been the achdus of the community. For the benefit of the architects, that's a way of saying brotherhood in Hebrew and sort of sense of community. And to me, what I think the biggest thing that I would like to see in the Shul here is that I would like to see the building enhance and amplify things other than that. But to see the building enhance and amplify that sense of achdus and community. And I think the way that this building is oriented right now, it's basically oriented and it creates the Shul as an audience. The way that it's sloped down, it's like we're watching a play. We aren't necessarily channeled to be participants or channeled to be audience members for whatever's going on here or here. And I think that we would be better served by a design that channels us into a community feeling. One of the most important things about praying in Jewish tradition is it's an emotional experience. And when you're praying alone silently, it's emotional between yourself and God. But when you're praying out loud, and there's certain sections of the service that are designed to be out loud specifically, it's meant to be that way so you can have the emotional unity feeling. And to have the design be put together that way, I would ask you to be psychologists as much as architects. And I think it would be helpful to as has been suggested before, orient forward this space it's a big empty space in the middle does not need to be an empty space. I think it could be filled in. What Mark said earlier is actually extremely traditional. Having a raised platform is the almost universal solution to this problem. The things that nothing new to see, and it's been true for hundreds of years, literally. But that platform doesn't have to be right there. It can actually, and is in many synagogues, can be further back in the middle of the congregation. A lot of shuls actually have a number of seats facing forward towards the Aron Kodesh, towards the Ark, and have their backs to the area where the Torah is read and the guy's adopting is. That's a very traditional solution. But just overall to focus on unity and sort of creating that feeling of unity and that unity in our davening rather than the audience member feeling we have now.
Well, even though you've only been here a couple of months, you certainly sense what I sense in these congregations, which is just a tremendous reservoir of love and affection, closeness and community. It's a great thing.
Can everybody hear me?
No.
Turn it off. I would just like to suggest that we have a lot of wonderful ideas and to suggest that we put together a comprehensive plan for the entire sanctuary that can be implemented in stages as money is raised. Because my fear is that if we only take one element into account, just in the pizza, which I know is very important, then as we, God willing, get enough money to renovate the entire sanctuary, it will become a piecemeal endeavor. Thank you. And that we should have a large vision that we can break down and implement as we raise the funds, and we stick to that large vision.
So the pizza here is simply an evolving part of a much larger
It's a
vision.
piece of the puzzle to accomplish all the other needs.
This microphone isn't doing so well, so
I don't think I will need a microphone. When we're talking about years here, I think I'm going to play Can You Top This? God willing, next Rosh Hashanah will be 49 years. I have davened in this synagogue. Some of my children have been married here, others have not. But we have always been a part of it, and I want to hark back to something that Reb David said earlier. In many ways, we're an aging congregation, and there's a group of us who have aged. We've been here a very long time, and I would only ask that whatever decisions are made as far as what happens within this sanctuary, you be cognizant of the sensibilities and the sensitivities and the heart of those of us who have invested so much of ourselves in this building.
Hi. So many people have said so many wonderful things. My wife just spoke about the big picture. So I'm going to talk about the detail. Mrs. Williams mentioned the bottleneck. It happens every time. And it would be wonderful, I don't know how it could be done, but it would be nice if there were more doors, more access, somehow that people are going out differently. I don't know how that would occur, but that is a real, I think it's dangerous, but whatever. We don't have enough, we're running out of space for the Yortzeit boards, which are the little lights. I think that we're going to need more space somehow for that. I think the idea of more book space is important. When people come in from outside right now, we just have a table outside, and there's no guidance for people who are coming what books to take, where to take. I think there should be books outside before they ever come inside, with some sort of signage saying, here's a prayer book, here's the Bible, this is what you need. I don't know, again, this is...
organizing
it needs to be better organized, and I think that Mark's suggestion, a comment about, you've noticed when people had to get up, here's another one going, they have to get up and move out of the way to get out of the benches. So I have seen benches where the benches themselves, the seats themselves fold up. So all you have to do is stand up, and now you've backed up. You don't have to go outside the aisle, the lane, and get into the aisle. And they also have tables that flip up for the prayer books. That would make praying easier on our backs. Also, because when we're holding, I have to find a lightweight book because it hurts my back just to hold these silly prayer books.
Does the silk floor most everything?
Silly, yeah.
Does the silk floor seem to